Welcome to the Doing All the Things Challenge weekly update for week 2. Love these glasses. You're going to be seeing a lot of them. But with that being said, let's jump right into week 2. And initially, it started out really promising. I had my best time on my walk on Monday, coming in at 45 minutes and 1 second. And we can just kind of see my walks there. Now we can see where the first week my minute mile was a lot stronger, just over 21 minutes a mile. Now this week, a lot higher. And we're gonna get into how I went from having the best, making the best time on my walk to it just completely kind of cascading, right? And I also wanted to point out on Monday, I had the best calorie burn during Pilates there. We can see that. So again, started out really good, really great momentum. And then throughout the week, due to my sleep, I just, I think that momentum just fell completely because as we can see, and actually before we get into the sleep, I do want to point out last week with being so tired, I did end up doing, I think 10 minutes Pilates on 2 different days, but also adding in those cool downs in addition. So still getting in 20 minutes of, additional exercise. And we can see I have closed my Apple Watch rings every day except that first day in June. And I wanted to also point out this week, I had higher calorie burn. We can see on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even Friday. And a lot of that was me running more. And it's interesting that, again, best time on Monday, but the lowest calorie burn there. But again, the running is making a difference in the amount of calories I'm burning. I think it's called the after run burn or something like that. So pretty cool to see. And then here is where we are getting into my sleep, right? So we can see it's just been pretty low that week. Now I did finally sleep at least 7 hours, hitting that sleep goal twice this week, once on Wednesday and on Saturday, but still just was not enough to keep up with that initial momentum that started the week, which really was poor to begin with too when we look at how the sleep was Sunday. So I don't know how Monday was so good, it just was. I really feel like that 36-hour fast I do over the weekend seems to help, but either which way, sleep still crap that week, but at least hit my sleep goal twice. Here's just kind of also showing I've been getting less sleep over the past 20 days. And I did want to also point out, so I've been fasting quite a bit. We can see the second week, not fasting as long as that first week. Those daily fasts were a lot longer. The second week, I calmed that down quite a bit. And part of that too, I was reading that being in deep ketosis, which I was, can have an impact on your sleep as well. So at this point, really just trying to control the things that I can to sleep. And so we're gonna see here, average carbs were like 65 for the week, and calories. Now Sunday, that's a lot of calories, right? And you can see what happened there if you check out day 15, and day 16 will also have a little bit more reasoning as to why the calories were so excessive on that day. And I want to point out too, it is kind of confusing to do these updates because some apps run Sunday through Saturday, some are Monday through Sunday. So, I'm just doing the best with what I have. Doesn't help that I'm an entire day behind for doing this update as it is. So thank you for your patience with that. Now I did get in at least 36 different plants last week. We can see there just a variety of different plants eaten, and definitely got in my mindful minute every single day last week as well. Week 2, I definitely tested higher for ketones in my urine, coming in the large a couple of days during week 2. Now, as far as weighing in today at 209, that is a 4-pound gain from last week's 205. And keep in mind, week 1, there was a 9-pound weight loss, finishing up that week. And then this week, we're seeing that 4-pound gain, but really I ate a lot on Sunday, and I normally don't eat on Sunday. Week 3 is essentially really thrown off, but just throwing all that out there. And then a couple of other exciting things I did last week was I went live on Saturday as I went ahead and got rid of 9 pieces of clothing, 1 for each pound lost. So that was a lot of fun. And again, maybe something I'll do again in the future. I did enjoy it. So make sure you check out that video. And I also went ahead and tested for THC in my urine. Still showing positive there, but a couple just kind of quirky things that I did do last week. And yes, last week ended, and again, it's like, am I going Sunday or Monday? I don't know, but essentially I did make it through Sunday through Saturday sober. It was very, very hard on Saturday, but I made it until midnight on Sunday, essentially. So did stay sober, no alcohol, no weed, no cigarettes, you know, just to clarify there. Now, next week's update is going to be different because I didn't stay sober. So make sure you check out that. And again, just the videos are there if you want to see to an extent, you know, what went on. But gonna keep it kind of short as far as this weekly update. I am still really just pretty tired and yeah, just wanting to at least make sure you guys have some sort of a weekly update for week 2. So thank you again for watching, showing up. I'll see you guys soon.